Welcome to the Vision Seed Podcast, where we gather in the dark beneath the soil within the luminous void from which all creation blooms. Without our sense of sight, we explore the alchemy of the creative process through intimate conversations with artists and visionaries. Together, we embrace the mystery and infinite potential of the unknown. This is a space to honor the whisper of inspiration and the dance within the blackness that births creative magic. Let's journey into the void. In this episode, I sit down with my dear friend, Ashleigh Warner. Ash is a writer and multidisciplinary artist whose work lives at the intersection of poetry, sonic exploration, embodied memory, and radical aliveness. Rooted in grief, tenderness, and transformation, her writing serves as a kind of resurrection, where sensation becomes sentence and the unspeakable finds voice. Through textured language and ritual presence, Ash gathers what has been broken, burned, or buried, not to mend it, but to witness its becoming. I hope you enjoy this episode as much as I enjoyed recording it. I can already feel that I'm going to have to expand the limits of my language.
As the church bells go off.
Help me, God. Help me.
Oh, God is here. The records are open.
The records are open. So let's exhale out. And breathe in together deeply. Holding at the top and taking another sip. Another sip. One more. Squeeze the muscles, the pelvic floor, the belly, the throat. And release. Dropping your roots 1,000 miles deep into the core of the earth. If you start to float away at any point, you can squeeze the root. The pelvic floor will ground you back in. Remind you where your seed is like a beacon. Little lighthouse. Kim Kranz once shared that on a podcast that I listened to with her, and I loved that. I think it's so valuable to remember the first floor of the body. Mm-hmm. I just want to share my intention with you, Ash, which is to, along with all of the guardians and protectors that we've already named and called into the space, I want to be the final piece of that and be in support of creating a light and bright and also rock solid container for you to explore what it means to be an artist, what it means to be a creative in this lifetime, and to let you sink into that container as much as possible.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you can, if there's any word or intention you want to chime in with right now, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, my intention for being here is to allow myself to surrender to being a channel for divine source to communicate through me in relationship to my experience of being human, so that I can provide maybe some guidance or inspiration to anyone who listens, who has experienced or resonates with my experience of being a creator, and to be virtuous within that, and
virtue.
Yeah, be in conscious awareness of when I want to prove and just allowing the feminine to come through.
Thank you for opening up that permission. Yeah, I'll echo it. I hope that and intend that I can step into a channel space here today and help bring down the words that are of the most service and create space for those words and step out of illusion and confusion and just allow. Yes, thank you. Welcoming the goddess and the flow of her Shakti into the space. Yes. Not that it isn't already fully present, but just onto her. Yeah, I'm connecting in with now just like the giddiness and the wiggliness that I feel because of how just excited I am to have you in front of me, or around me, I guess I should say, right now. There's really no point of reference as we sit in the dark. I'll imagine we're both
on clouds.
As much as possible. May I lovingly set aside this concept of having a body for a while. I would love to invite you to embrace with your awareness the area of most sensation in your body right now, and taking a breath of acknowledgement of that sensation, that location, and beginning to get curious if you can discern a color or texture, or pattern, a word for what you're feeling. And when you're ready, you can describe that to me, and I'll conjure into my mind's eye, into my vision, and presence it with you for a moment.
Yeah, I'm feeling the most sensation in the back of my mouth, where my mouth meets my throat on the left side. And it feels rich. It feels heavy, like a wool blanket in the summer. It's dark in its color. There's no specific color. It's shifting in the palette of like purple, black, brown, that like rich chocolatey essence. But it's not a firm color. And its texture feels like a bouncy ball almost. Yeah. It also feels spherical, like that, contained in the one area in a round globe-like form.
Yeah, dark. Cool. Interesting. I'm feeling most of my sensation on my right side, which for me is really not common right now. And I have this like blue branching sort of a tree. It's like bright cobalty blue. And it's stretching all the way up into like the right side of my head, kind of originating around like my right side armpit and all the way across now to the place that you described on the left side of the throat, where the mouth meets the throat, and kind of like holding and cradling that too. And it's really, this is the first time I've experienced my sensation in relation to my guests and like felt them interacting, which is really cool. And I'm kind of imagining the location that you just described is kind of like bounding and melting into the branches of the tree that are coming out of my shoulder. Sorry. So cool.
Wow, that is so wild. It just gifted me with clarity, that visualization. As yours being the left, it's now speaking to me. And it is that like creative feminine essence that is begging to be held by the discipline of the masculine, of the rhythm of the masculine, so that she can feel safe enough to consume the whole container, the boundary of which she wants to consume. She feels contained and stuck in that one spot. And I'm feeling it now travel down my throat, down my chest, into the lower part of my womb on my left side. Wow. Like, yeah, all the way down into this, all the way down into the space of my own creative portal. Wow. The entrance of my own creative portal. Wow. And it's not a ball anymore. It's like a waterfall of like brown cacao liquid just like melting down.
Oh, yeah.
The left side of
you have no idea what it means to me as a Pisces and a water trine and a traditionally chaotic and ungrounded girly to know that the structures and the containers that I'm building are creating safety and support for the goddess and for the feminine to flow through. That to me is a moment of immense joy and celebration that I'm creating these containers and these spaces for the boundlessness of that. Means a lot. It's almost hard to believe. It's almost hard to believe. Yeah, I never imagined I would be able to actually do such a thing and also provide it for another being. So I'm in full celebration over here. Just knowing that support exists through this container. Whoa! Already so psychedelic.
Wow, I just felt you like an inch away from me. Was that reality?
We both leaned forward to laugh.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. That's so funny.
We're like magnetized now. And we merged!
Awesome. Okay. So, luckily, we already have this sort of line in down to the root. And that rich cacao is water falling down into the lowest part of the body, and this place where the spine comes to meet the surface of our earth. So as we rest in this place and imagine the depthful reds and browns of the earth, I would love for this container to provide you an opportunity to explore your roots as an artist and as a creative. And if it feels useful, you can invite in the presence of inner child Ash, and she can speak a little bit about the first moments that she felt touched by the energy of creation and started making things, and where that leads you to where you are now. Without further ado.
Wow, so many things are present in this space, and the very first image that is actually coming to my mind when I tune into younger, wildly curly-haired Ash is woodworking with my father. And this is like preteen Ash, so she's not quite baby Ash in this space yet. But yeah, I'm having this image of creating and shifting and moving things to turn them into other things with my father. I actually really give a lot of gratitude to my father for that. He was a very creative person that embodied mastery in like many a thing that he did, and created this space for himself to explore many different modalities and things. And in being his daughter and in witnessing that, I also had the opportunity and invitation to learn how to build things with him. So yeah, the very first image I'm getting is of me like sanding this desk that my brother was also involved in, and creating this space for, ultimately, like what it was for my brother and my dad to be able to play games together, which is funny because it didn't even really have to do with creating space for myself, which is fascinating to feel into in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's actually a lot present when I tune into my root. There's this like stable, anchored, unshakable, like as you described, like lightning rod essence to it. And there's also a battlefield that feels like it exists on the top of that, like on the soil, just on the surface. And I have a hard time accessing memories from my childhood, like before the age of probably 6 or 7. I have a couple. And when I tune into creativity, actually, I'm seeing this image of me in this pink, like feathered skirt dancing. And in the background are these maroon curtains and this maroon carpet. And we're in England, which is where I spent my years of 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's interesting that the textures and colors of the fabrics in the space that I was in as a child reflect the color of the chakra as well. Yeah, that's what I have. That's what's present there.
There's a poetry there. When you named the battlefield, I was curious a little bit about that battle. You seem to have this deep taproot that allows you to ground your creative ideas into the earth. We're currently sitting in a space that you, for lack of a better word, channeled into being through hard work and through months and continued tending. I've seen music projects and all of the many beautiful things you've created in your home and in your life. And also, I'm curious about the battle that happens on the soil level. I know it's probably something that would be of service to share about if you care to do so.
Yeah. Let me just tune in to that battle and what it is wanting to communicate and speak in this moment. It actually feels like it has been a battle for safety within creativity and my full expression, and having all of these flashes of memories and where my expression was met with punishment in its loudness and its power and its frequency. And the battle is based in fear around being witnessed in my light. It's a battle to create spaces that allow me and everyone that I love to be witnessed and held and celebrated in their light, in their creativity, and their gifts. And to know that it is safe to do so, that it's not met with violent punishment.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really showing me the importance of sanctuous space.
The phrase that is just echoing through my being right now is "the wind is the way."
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about, little Ash maybe not having that moment or that opportunity to be in her lightness in a way that felt safe, and her having to contain that and bury that. And then how that, because of you, was alchemized into creating this, not only this home, but this acorn and this beautiful space that we're in right now, that you have indeed allowed to be filled with the light of so many beings, and you've encouraged so many people to come through and to share their gifts and their true soul frequency. And I'm so blessed to be a benefactor of that, not only in this moment, but in the first moment that I came here and stepped into this space and was encouraged to share my tattoo gifts, and then to share my teaching gifts and facilitating. And I'm not the only one, and Ash has done this for so many people. Incredible artistry has flowed through this space because of that sacred permission, and because of that blessing, and because of that alchemization of the wound of not having a safe space to shine. Wow.
It's actually bringing up a grief in me, because now I'm seeing little Ash trying to create all of these spaces for everybody to feel safe in response to not having it for herself. Because if that can be created, then the spaces around her are safe enough for her to explore it. Really a gift to have experienced the type of childhood that I did, which, I grew up military, and there was this absence of father, like pretty frequently for me, and the presence of grandmother and mother, and father would disappear and come back and be expected to integrate the experience of war and being on an actual battlefield into a system and culture that doesn't provide ultimately like soldiers with the space to feel what they're actually doing, blanketed with the illusion that it's in service to this country. And I know that in and of itself is a really triggering thing to many veterans to share. And I'm even feeling the resistance to speaking that and having immense compassion for that role in our society and for my father. And so for him to be absent and then come back and be expected to hold the military industrial complex, to hold that and still show up fully as a father without having the resources to be able to really alchemize and feel, because in the military you're also taught to stuff it back. Don't allow yourself to feel it. And so what happens when we do that is we become overwhelmed by it in the physical body, and we explode.
Become fractured.
And we put it out onto the things outside of us because we're so desperately seeking hands, gentle hands, and compassion, and a holding and a witnessing of that experience. To not be resourced in that would lead you to be angry and violent. And I'm feeling immense compassion for that experience and gratitude, because that's actually gifted me with the passion for cultivating spaces for people to be able to really sink in and let go and feel and know that their creative essence is inherently safe in and of itself.
Thank you for daring to feel all of that so that you could turn it into this. And I'm imagining this juxtaposition, tapping into actually a sensitivity or a line of grief that I haven't probably ever tapped into right now with you sharing about having a military family, Ash. Like, this unbelievable split that must have to happen within a person, within a soldier, when he goes from holding a gun to holding his own child.
Mm-hmm.
A matter of days or hours. And like, just, yeah, right now, like, sending up a prayer of like integration of those two fractured parts in all of us and in every soldier and every person who is in that position, whether they want to be or not. And I don't think most people want to be. So yeah, that's a really tender coming together.
It helps me have compassion for all of the little wars that we battle within ourselves too. You know, it's this like pretty intense manifestation of the collective conscious, war and violence and being at each other. And it helps me have compassion for the internal wars that we all battle within ourselves.
Yes.
Those fractionalized pieces that are just like needing resource. They're just needing to be seen. They're just needing to know that it's okay that they exist, like first and foremost, the way that they are.
Yeah. The image that I'm getting is, again, coming back to this picture of the soil and the conflictual nature of the soil. Plants battling for a resource. I see bugs eating the plants because they want to survive and grow and propagate and continue to be. And on the soil microbiome level, sort of the simultaneous innocence and also violence of all of that. And yes, it does help us have compassion for our own battles, also witnessing that on the level of nature, these things are happening, right? Like in a rainforest, everything is battling for sunlight. Everything is growing up out of this really dense forest to try to catch the light. And I think it's nice to temper the intensity of this with a little bit of, so nature is also battling at the level of the soil and vying for life and to continue to grow. And it's at this point that I begin to wonder, for you, Ash, like, what is nourishing that soil, that top level of soil? Curious about what is nourishing when we come into the sacral. What is that which is flowing and pleasurable that is feeding the deepening of the roots and is feeding you in grounding your creations right now?
Oh man, so many things. So many things, but when I tune into it and I think about the nature of nature and how beautiful it is to witness life prevailing amidst it all, and even to witness the process of death. It's nature that always holds me. So anytime when I'm feeling overwhelmed and wanting to shift that into space that feels nourishing and pleasurable, like literally smelling a plant will bring me to that space. The plants actually always bring me to that space. They have this inherent wisdom within them, whether it is consuming them by witnessing, by hearing, by feeling, by actually eating, by smelling, being in the sensorial experience of the nature of all things provides me really deep nourishment. And especially if I can find myself deep in spacious stillness and where I can observe the nature of all things in relationship with each other. I'm having this image of a fern field. I just went on this hike last week up north and was walking along the riverbanks and just feeling astonished by the magnificence of the color and the texture and the sounds and the smells of nature, and just simple things like standing in the ray of sunshine and witnessing the amber shadow cast upon the St. Croix River, standing in this sand that looks like crystals scattered beneath my feet, and remembering the miracle of all that is nature. And that's fully encapsulating of the violent nature of nature. And also being in the peaceful, expansive, blooming nature that comes from that battle, the life that comes from that battle. Yeah.
I just had this really potent, striking image of the battle creating the tension and the pressure that is required to individuate and to become that specific frequency which you are, or for those plants to take on the specific form that they have taken on, right? Over however many millions of years of evolution of plants. It is the battles which have defined them and created the difference in speciation and the specification, and the fact that this leaf has serrated edges and this one does not. And this flower blooms this way and looks like a cathedral, and this one looks like a sun. And, you know, all of these amazing, rich specializations that have happened are kind of a result of this thing was eaten. And this thing was ripped up by the wind. And this thing was trampled, and it's changed itself to meet the battle. Whoa. And so too do we. And so too do we.
Wow, I literally just saw a seed crack from the own internal pressure that it gives itself to, like, reach for the sunlight, for, like, that which is nourishing. Which makes me feel excited about the individuation, because that is, like, that's the experience of being human.
Yeah.
Is in the separation.
Yes.
And it can't exist, the bloom can't exist without the, you know, the pressure to get to the bloom.
Right. I think that this is so naturally and beautifully bringing us into the solar plexus too, right? And are you feeling this? Like the connection between identity and, like, disidentification. When we come into the center, we're thinking about not only power, but also disempowerment and challenge and struggles and hiding versus showing up, or confidence. So I wonder right now, Ash, like, in your creative practice and in your process, what is the space that you feel like you're stepping into that feels confident and alive right now?
The space that I'm stepping into right now that feels confident and alive is in looping. It's in music. It's in dance. And specifically giving myself the foundation for my bloom to exist upon. And that's what looping feels like it does, is it creates this foundational canvas for my frequency, my prayer, which when I find myself tapping into expressing my voice and sharing my song, it's usually in the form of spoken word prayer. And it feels so empowering to provide myself the space. This is actually so, like, kind of heady when I'm tuning into it, or, like, it's very meta. I'm like, okay, externalizing my masculine through frequency and sound, so that I can externalize and provide the space for my feminine to dance upon that. And yeah, that's within looping, that's with music. And I feel inspired right now to, like, be in that space.
Yeah, I know. I want to play with it.
I'm so excited.
Can we just pause this and run upstairs and start playing with the loop pedal?
Yes, please.
Yeah, and we will. Yeah. Oh, I love that. And yes, I feel so much resonance with you too, Ash, and, like, the externalization of the masculine, so that I can really allow myself to be in my feminine, and, like, the way that this structure that we're in right now allows that. Like, I feel like I can just completely release and flow into this podcast because I've created now the structure and the rhythm, and that it's coming out, and, like, the, you know, it's happening, and it has a containment. It provides so much support. I'm imagining that inner horizon. Do you remember the podcast that we listened to the other day that spoke about the inner horizon. David White was sharing about how time spent in nature and gazing out over the horizon is mirrored inside of us with our inner horizon. And witnessing the sunrise and sunset, which is, the advancement and retreating of the solar plexus energy center, let's say. There's these moments where we feel really deeply in our power and in our confidence as creators, and then there's moments where that sun dips below the horizon. And I think that when the sun dips below the horizon, we would maybe use the words of like, this is our growth edge, or this is our moment of feeling maybe less empowered or less confident. And we titrate the experience of going into the dark and coming back up into the light. So I'm curious for you right now if there's anything that feels like it's still below horizon level, and if there's anything that you want to share from below that horizon level that you think would be useful to other people stepping into their creative gifts. What is something that's feeling like a growth edge or that's sticky for you right now that you're actively working on as a creative?
Yeah, so what I'm working on is allowing myself to be in the improvisational nature of the feminine through my voice and through music. Just guitar, rhythm, drums, whatever it is that wants to move through me, that wants to dance through me. And it's interesting because when I hold in one hand empowerment and in the other disempowerment within the context of music, one hand is me in my bedroom, in my sanctuous space, by myself, exploring what wants to come through me. And that is always empowering. There's this little inner child that's like, yes, here I am in this like safe, contained, sensual space on my sheepskin with my plants beside me and like all of these inanimate objects speaking to me and like
giving you permission,
praising me, honestly, for like being in my expression. Yeah, for being in my expression. And also seeing myself and like knowing that this is not a performance. This is a prayer. My gifts, my expression, my art is a prayer. And I'm actually stepping into that with music. I consider myself to be multidisciplinary. There are many different things that I do that are channels for or bridges into creativity.
My growth edge is writing your bio for this podcast. Like trying to encapsulate.
You can just write creatrix.
Yeah, like, there you go.
But yeah, what I'm stepping into right now is finding empowerment within music, and that is being in my voice and my expression in my voice. And so I find ease and sanctuary and like fun and joy and play in the process of doing that when I am in my own sanctuous space. And I find that I'm back on that battlefield. I'm like at war with myself when I'm doing it in spaces with other people. And I crave to be able to be in harmonious creation within community. I find that I'm very much in my power when I am holding space or creating a container for others to do so. And what I'm working on now is inviting in people that inspire me in their creativity, in their art, and their expressions, inviting them into the sanctuary of space that I've created so that I can step into a place of finding empowerment and being witnessed in the free and liberated and like a wild improvisational present expression of what wants to come through me through frequency of sound. And it's hard. My comparative stuff comes up and yeah, it's like I go from being in the heart to being in the head oftentimes. How badly I want to fall into the web of hands and create in harmony and get my own illusions and like need for external validation and like witnessing that my gift, my voice, my art, specifically in relationship to my body, my own vessel, like that comes from our own physical being, the voice. It is like one of, to be an instrument and to be valued to be valued for what comes through your own instrument, and disassociating that with my value as a being, and knowing that, like, ultimately it's safe to play and be messy, and discerning when I'm in performance and trying to prove that my voice, my poetry, my art is valuable to people, and when I'm allowing it to be a prayer. And I've actually been in a space, I noticed this, my partner and I went up north like 2 weeks ago, and I was singing Owani Wachielo as a prayer, thanking God for this life, as I was like being cradled by basically a private beach with the most gorgeous little pond, and turtles were swimming through it, and there were like snail shells everywhere, and it was like a picture perfect painting of being held in nature by mother saying, you are so safe to explore your art here. And I pulled out my guitar and I just started praying thanks. And I was doing it with my eyes closed, and I noticed the moment my partner pulled out the camera, I felt the frequency of the eyes of technology on me, and I opened my eyes and I saw it, and I entered into the battlefield. Oh. And there I was, literally saying to myself and repeating over and over and over, let your art be your prayer, let your art be your prayer, let your art be your prayer. Come back to the prayer. Come back to the prayer. Oh. So that it's not a performance. Because when I get into the performance, then I constrict within my being. And I wilt. And I, turn into this just really interesting, muddy pile of stuff that is beautiful in itself, because the muck is also beautiful, which is something I realized on that trip.
No mud, no lotus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just gotta look closely.
Ash, we're already so naturally like in the heart, right? And coming into this idea of making art that is a prayer. But I also just had such a crazy quantum entanglement moment with you as you were speaking just now, because I remember so vividly this day. Why not be candid about it? It was July 3rd, I think, of 2021. It was the first time I had ever taken acid. And I went to the most beautiful campus. They have this epic, giant lawn that's cradled by trees and flowers, and it's so beautiful. And I was running around on that lawn, and I kept saying, may my art open me, may my art open me, over and over, the mantra. And then I finally just was saying, art that opens, art that opens, art that opens, art that opens. And that became my prayer. And then I created, my account for sharing my paintings on the internet was called Art That Opens. And for the last, I'm closing out a chapter actually, so it's really beautiful to presence this verbally with you right now. I was sharing my paintings through that account for over 7 years. I was sharing my art there. And it used to be called Quince Paints before.
Cute!
Before I really stepped into the prayer of my gift and started creating art that was expressly for opening my heart. But yeah, it's a beautiful chapter's end as I look at the thing I've created with Art That Opens and say, oh wait, that is not separate from me anymore. I'm not fractioning my identity into two pieces, one being Quincy, the other being the artist. We're doing away with that separation. Like, I am done. And everything that I want to share creatively, I'm putting my name over it. And like, I want it to be my baby. It's no longer just art that opens and I'm holding it at arm's length. I'm letting it open me and my body, and like I'm claiming again, and I'm just really, really like feeling this resonance between our hearts right now in creating art that opens us and opens us to ourselves and opens us to our potential and opens us to the world and opens us to our gifts and opens us as channels for God. And I'm so happy we get to do it next to each other. And also that I got to witness you the other night doing it. Oof. It is so... the other night we were in Ash's room, we were playing with the loop pedal, and we were all freestyling over that loop. And we were all in real time working through all of the shadows and shame and guilt and fear that was coming up with it. And you could see it on everybody's face. When the mic came into their hand, they said, oh, fuck. And like the whole body kind of does its process of freeze, fear, like all of the things happen. And we're just holding loving witness and sitting there and nodding our heads. And then you start channeling and something beautiful comes through. And you remember that it's not you that's doing it. It's being done through you. And just getting to be with you in that process of transmuting your prayer through your body and an improv was so cool. And I just want more and more of that. So I'm calling on that and more, just praying for more and more. That is what's in my heart right now. Yeah. That's sorry, I really rampaged.
No, it's so good. I'm like feeling called to take a moment to celebrate you and closing out that chapter, like one of the Instagram that like began your journey, you know, in the platform that ultimately had these like maybe fractionated parts of you. And it's such an honor to witness you coming into being your art and being the space of opening. And I want to take a moment to celebrate you and closing out that chapter and saying goodbye to it. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm also proud of you for saying yes to like the impulse of the heart. And I think that's what like giving yourself the space to tune in to your body and what you're feeling and to listen to your heart is ultimately what drives art that opens, art that feels authentic and truthful, is art that comes from the heart.
Yeah, thank you. Nobody, not even you, knows that I'm blushing or that I got so sweaty that I took my shirt off and I'm topless now because, the compliments made me feel really flushed. And I'm working on receiving them, and I am receiving them in this moment. Thank you so much. We're stepping up. We have stepped up to the altar of our own hearts.
Passion. That's where passion lies.
I feel like we could stay in the space of the heart forever.
I want to explore it more.
I feel like I'm not done, and I'm not ready to move up yet, because you just said the word passion, and I want to understand that and unpack that a little bit more. And you were also yesterday unpacking the definition of the word wildness. And I'm remembering something that my dear friend Ren shared on this podcast, which people can go back and find and listen to when they listen to this. But when we were talking about the heart, I said, is it enough to make art that's just for us? And she's like, yes, but I have to have fervor if that's the case. And this word of fervor. And so now I'm tying it in with our conversation now here. Passion, wildness, fervor, and sort of this tone of the Sufi mystics, right? This like wild, reckless abandon with love for the one, this dizziness, this drunkenness. And I'm just thinking about you, of course, and how much you have to share in this domain. And I want to crack open the space for you to talk about wildness and passion.
I think that art that is created for self, I might contradict myself in this.
Okay.
I feel that art that is created for self is art that is created in truth. And when I say that, what I mean is true self. And the heart feels like the true self. The heart in itself is wild. It has this like inherent wisdom that doesn't make sense many times. If you try to understand your heart and why you love the things that you love, there's usually not a pathway there other than you just do. You just do. And so I find that, honestly, the most felt pieces of art are pieces of art that come from the heart, that come from the self, that come from immense grief, loss, which is just the illusion of losing love, or love being not present is grief. And the real reality of physical loss of things, and the space within that, which is like the pain of the heart, or love itself, which are the things that we're passionate about, are the things that make our heart beat, and not in this like butterfly, fast fleeting sort of way, but in this sustained, purposeful why This is the why sort of way. And the heart feels like the well in which we get to drink from to find our own truth. And when we create from the space of our own truth, we're really giving the gift of experiencing God through art. The God that is ourselves in our individuation, in our uniqueness, in our personal experiences of being the human that we are. And to just feel on fire, to feel ignited and on fire is one of the best feelings. And we can also create from that place, you know?
I feel it right now.
Right? It's so good. And it's like to be madly in love with another and to create because we love another is still creating for self because it's coming from our heart.
Devotion to the one.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it is reflected in the great many.
Mm-hmm. Passion. Yeah. Passion feels like an emotionally consuming experience where your entire body just becomes aroused by and alive with the essence of your own heart. And there's nothing more juicy than that. Like, I will drink that nectar all day. And personally, like, I'm in a journey of that, you know? That's like the heart connects the root with the, you know, the mind, the upper two. It's like right in the center, that anahata, that like green chakral energy. It's the nature of all things. It is sexual. It is creative, steady in rhythm. It is the devotion of the masculine to the feminine, the heart. It's like the sun rising every single day so that the earth can bloom and wilt and bloom and wilt and bloom and wilt.
Because rise to meet it.
Exactly, because it's consistent.
I feel like I can feel your words traveling through the space between us and like hitting my skin. And it's so erotic. Actually, I just feel, and when I say erotic, I mean full of eros. Like I can feel the energy behind your words right now affecting me on a cellular level and like reaching my physical body and touching me. And it's really beautiful and it feels really good. Yeah. Thank you for charging that well in yourself and filling that well in yourself so that I can glimpse into it and see my own reflection and remember how to fill my own well with that very same passion and rhythm and presence. Thank you. Wow.
Thank you for receiving.
Yeah. God. Oh, man.
It's interesting that you bring up Eros because Eros is the energy behind all creation. Like if you think about it, all things are giving and receiving in order really to continue and sustain life.
Wow.
Open the heart, open the experience of pleasure in the body.
Yes.
And wow, what a tender
and the
organ.
Rhythm. Yeah, such a tender organ.
I'm seeing the ribs as this like cage that protects them and everything that is around the heart that protects it, and how little there actually is. You know, like we have a skull and the skull protects the brain. Like you could fall upon something and you have this very hard, very rigid, very solidified container around the mind, but the heart doesn't have that same protection. How tender, you know, and so how important to create a space for our heart to feel safe, to express itself, to be in communication with us around its truth. And I feel that art can be a channel for that.
Totally. That's another prayer, I think. That our art, creates that containment for our prayer. And I think that's what motivates us to develop the technical skills we need to develop or wish to develop in order to support the fluid, loving nature of pouring the heart into the expression, right? Like you have to learn the decks, you have to learn how to use the looper, you have to learn how to use your paints, you have to learn how to dance and move the body and condition it to receive. And it's beautiful. It is the dance between the masculine and the feminine.
Right, and if you're passionate about something, follow that. Because that passion is what gives you the drive to learn whatever modality it is that you want to learn so that the feminine can dance upon it. It's interesting. The heart is such a fascinating organ because I find it to be both masculine in its essence, and it's like the way that it beats steadily, and to also be like the source of the feminine, the love, the infinite void, the creative, the passion fuels the rhythm of its beat, you know? And it's like the passion for painting or music or whatever artistic expression that you want fuels the drive, the energy that goes into being in steady relationship with something enough to allow the feminine to show its face, to come into form.
And even in the physiological level, the heart is sending and then receiving and then sending and then receiving with every beat. So yes, it is like this beautiful paradox of masculine and feminine polarity. And yes, totally. Oh, I love that image. Yeah. And I love picturing the heart right now. I don't so often find myself imagining my heart physically.
Yeah, imagine if we all listened to it and then had the tools to communicate its truth. How beautiful a world we would live in.
There's a question that's coming up for me, and it's naturally transitioning us into the throat. And it's how to decode the language of one's own heart and to express that language. Do you have an answer for me? I don't know if I have an answer.
Decoding the language of the heart. It's a good question, and I honestly feel like it is a lifelong journey. And the word intuition is coming up for me. I feel that intuition comes from the heart. And intuition is something that doesn't speak often. You know, it's not this persistent, at times it can be, but it doesn't feel, at least in my experience, to be persistent. It feels like this random, spontaneous, intense inner knowing. And developing a relationship with your own inner knowing feels like devoting yourself to understanding the language of the heart. And that is like honestly kind of dichotomous, because intuition is something that we don't learn to trust until we take the leap into what it is that feels like it's sparking that passion, that inner knowing within ourselves. And so sometimes we leap and we miss. And sometimes we leap and we're caught. And that feels like the web of communication, is being in that process of leaping over and over and over again when you feel the ignition and refining through discernment by landing and looking around and asking yourself whether or not it was really an intuitive hit, i.e. the heart speaking to you.
Yeah.
Or if it was conditioning.
Or the chatter of the mind, yeah.
I
find this question really alive for me right now. In like, the way I'm picturing it is like, you're panning for gold, and how do you, when you see a sparkle, how do you know that it's genuine? And I don't expect to find an answer right now, but there's just an exploration within myself of, is this flicker of light that I just found in my search for truth another phenomenon of mind, or is it true heart wisdom? And there's a lot of things I think we can do to test it, and the response of the body is one of them, right? Like if the body opens and celebrates, then it's probably truth. And if the body like closes and contracts, then maybe it isn't. But there's still so much to learn there for me.
Right.
Humbled by that search and discernment.
There's like, the language feels like understanding the sensitivity of that and taking that light and sitting with it. And you know, sometimes like shiny objects can feel good, like at first. And then you sit with the shiny object and you feel numb, or you feel contracted,
or you feel like you need to possess it and guard it and
protect it, which is like
close around it.
Right.
Wow.
And the language of the heart in and of itself feels expansive.
The heart does not consume an object that it beholds.
No. It frees it, actually. Yeah, it frees it. And so my experience of it is a melting into this pool of blissfulness. And that doesn't always even happen when the heart is communicating, because of our own conditionings and our traumas and our attractions to things that, you know, may or may not actually be the heart communicating. So I think it's just this like process of discernment, and all we can do is be in relationship with it and have compassion for the ways in which we have tendencies to see shiny things and want to keep them or protect them, or, you know, do whatever it is that we want to do with them, but ultimately knowing that if you love it, you set it free. And that frequency is the true frequency of the heart speaking.
I'm really loving the way you're drawing the wisdom of the heart up through this throat center and like speaking about frequency and expression through, right? Like, I don't think I've had this experience yet with anyone on the podcast where the throat is almost just an extension of the organ of the heart. And I'm now kind of thinking about our relationship and how maybe the first thing, well, to backtrack, we exchanged audio messages before we ever met in person. And they were these just juicy epics.
They were podcasts.
10 or 15 minute long podcasts of us just getting to know each other while I was in the forest painting a big mural on the floor of this teepee in Eugene, and I was just out in the woods by myself, and I would get an audio message from Ash and scurry over to my phone and listen to this, and it would just drop me into presence, and I could feel what I'm feeling right now, which is that your expression, your throat, your voice is an extension of your heart. So it's this full circle moment right now where I'm recognizing, like, oh, that's why I love you, and that's what I first loved about you, and that was the first recognition I had of you, and here it is again. And I'm gonna cry, so.
His Bible's just capturing an ocean of tears beneath it.
Hands.
Oh, I'm so sweaty. Take
Me too.
all my water. Oh.
Yeah, thank you for doing that and teaching me and just wearing the path in my field of speaking from the heart, continually turning towards speaking from the heart. And you create the safety for me to do that too in our friendship, which is just like so awesome. If I feel contraction around an interaction that we have or something that comes up between us, it feels really safe to speak from the heart and know that I'm going to be received from the heart. And yeah, it's a testament to the work you've done. It really is. Thank you. It's a gift. And the teaching.
It's so meaningful to receive that. It just like floated outside of my body for a second. And I was like, okay, come back. The hands helped me.
Come back,
wow.
Ash.
Thank you. Honestly,
yeah,
it's interesting because it also feels like it is one of my biggest battles. It's both, you know? Just constantly forging the path to be in relationship with speaking my truth and receiving other people's truth and receiving it into the heart and knowing that, like, even beneath language is the frequency of the heart's expression. Whether or not we have the tools to actually use the vernacular to depict it and capture it and, like, gift it. It's, to just, like, give it through sound, which you can always feel the truth and the frequency of sound from the voice. So thank you for receiving mine as an expression of my heart, and
absolutely.
Yeah, and just like seeing that in me. It's so meaningful.
Oh, it's been so easy. You make it so easy. Yeah.
A life's work.
Yeah. Handed to me on a silver platter.
Open your mouth, baby.
I get to just learn from my sisters. To me, that is like the most rock solid foundation in my life. I will melt into tears again. Just the ways that I learned from my sisters, the women in my life, the way I learn from both our joy and our laughter and our silliness and our grief. And yeah, that's everything to me. That's everything. When all else fails, there they are.
The web of sisters.
Oh, yeah, and thinking about this voice not lying, it makes me remember that I want to include more gibberish opportunities in my classes. I love it. I love letting people walk around and share their truth without using words and be received in their authentic expression, because sometimes people will really let through what they need to let through that they're not getting a chance to say in their relationships, and I love that. So thanks for reminding me that that was something that I want to integrate more and more.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you've left me with kind of a puzzle, because I was thinking this whole time, oh, the third eye is the space of intuition, is the space of vision. And now I'm like, Ash just said intuition comes from the heart, and I low-key agree with you. So I'm like, what the heck is the third eye even?
The space. Ooh, I'm sorry. I'm already answering the question.
No, you're going, and I want you to go. Please.
Intuition. Okay. The third eye feels to me like the space of the eternal void. It feels like the space for vision to anchor into. When I think about it in the head, behind the brow, between the brows, behind and in the skull, it is this sacred, protected womb space that is at the top, that allows us to anchor in the frequencies from dimensions that we can't experience in the body. And the heart feels like the electromagnetic frequency that pulls it down into the space.
Whoa. All right. That works for me. It's so funny because I almost asked that hypothetically, and then you literally gave me an answer, and I kind of don't know what to do with that. Like, that's hilarious. Wow. Yes. So we create a frequency through the heart that aligns with some sort of vibrational potential that exists within that infinitely dense void, and then that's how we pull it down.
It's magnetized. It's magnetized to that frequency.
See. Yeah.
That's my experience of it.
Honestly, that's my experience of it too. And again, I didn't have the language. So I'm being upgraded literally in real time on every episode of this podcast. And that is so sweet, tender, and vulnerable.
So proud of you.
I love this idea that there's no such thing as a stupid question. And I want to be driven by that more often. And remember that we don't really know anything. And we're playing with these ideas. And what is true is what feels really resonant. And yeah, wow. That landed really well. Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're given all these frameworks for understanding. And if we take the frameworks and contemplate them, which again is what I love about the Gene Keys, it's this living intelligence. It's not so scientific. So it's allowed to shift and, change within its frame of the way that we understand it. And oftentimes people just adopt frameworks without even contemplating them themselves.
Oh, yeah, we've been talking about that a lot in this house the past week.
Which is like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And what permission does a new framework provide? And, even taking, like you were naming you take kind of one step out of your sphere of knowledge, and then a whole new paradigm is available. So it's really less about the paradigm itself and more about the way that it encourages you and invites you to have this structural flexibility within your paradigms and be able to timeline jump effectively. Because if you can step into a new paradigm of thought just as an experiment and as an expression of divine play, then there's really nothing you can't understand, let's say, or can't feel into and can't sense. So it's just play. It's just playful. Yeah.
It makes me think of J. Krishnamurti and his book, The First and Last Freedom. And I think it's the 6th chapter that he talks about beliefs and adopting frameworks. And he states within it that if we continue to just believe gurus and masters and teachers that, you know, we give all of this power to externally, if we continue to just digest and believe whatever they say and accept it as a universal truth, we will replicate what already exists. But if we choose to listen to it and hold a container for its resonance and then sift through, like mining for gold, sift through all of it and find the frequency that settles and resonates within our own hearts, then we can magnetize the imagination, the invention. We can tune into the spatial void that allows us to actually be inventive. And so we won't continue to replicate that which already exists. We will create new systems that come from
resonance,
truth, love, source, like true source energy. Which is love, you know? Everything is really birthed from that frequency, I believe that. And that's where love resides, within the heart. And so to move from, as a magnet, as a heart magnet, into the world, I mean, will change the nature of all things. And no one knows what that looks like, because it doesn't exist yet. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
I just felt into the insanity and the immensity and the vastness of what the world would look like if everyone moved into their specific frequency of truth and then jumped and trusted it. It's like, you think about the way that much of our history and our current paradigm has been defined by, you know, key figures and their capacity to step into their frequency, jump into it, and then broadcast it and influence others. Within all of humanity, there are so many multiverses, right? Where different people decided to step into their resonance, their frequency, and jump and then influence. Like, there's infinite multiverses existing right now within the human population.
Honestly,
it's so cool.
It would be so chaotic at first.
It would be so chaotic.
Because people don't know how to discern truth from illusion right now. And it takes a deep relationship with self to be able to be honest and with an integrity of the truth of your own heart. And it is back to that dichotomous way of being where it's like you have to jump and make mistakes and broadcast things that are not necessarily truthful. And within the relationship of influencers, you know, what a role to take to be that space of illumination. And like, can we find compassion for that? It makes me think about, you know, everything that's blowing up with Aubrey Marcus and Bailana right now. And that, you know, Aubrey speaking his truth and people coming at him as like, well, this isn't really truth. It's masked with spiritual ego and all this other stuff, right? And how that is a part of the process of finding your truth is like, is exploring, right? Exploring, accepting, embracing. And we can't find our truth without the exploration of what we think is true. And sometimes what we think is true is rooted in illusion. Oftentimes it's rooted in illusion. And not until we're in the manifestation of our own illusion can we see that it's an illusion.
Yeah. You have to take that one step out of the circle for a moment and realize, oh, whoa. I was shrouded. I was completely enveloped in my own reality. Like, it would be chaotic. It would be so chaotic.
It would be so chaotic at first.
And it's not what I wish, but I just wish that we could connect with that sense of potential.
I honestly kind of wish it.
Yeah.
I wish it because I think it's necessary. It's like, we'll bring it to the ego, right? People are so, the pendulum swings where people are very much like, oh, you really need your ego, or the ego is the devil. And it's like, well, we needed to be in the illusion of whatever it is that we created so that we could understand ourselves and create form of like the physical human body. We had to take that step. You don't just go from a stack of wood to a house, you know, like you have to build. And within the process of building, that is the process of like refining and understanding what your truth actually is. And there are so many layers over our hearts that we have to penetrate through. And like, especially within, westernized culture and the society that we have been raised in, which like doesn't teach you how to be in the heart at first. Like it teaches you how to be of ego, of self, of system. And like, so to penetrate through all of the layers to actually find the true essence of the heart is truly a process of discernment. And like, it's going to be messy and destructive and chaotic. And we need that, because on the other side of that horizon is like a beautiful sunset or a beautiful sunrise. It is a new day. It is truth. And being in relationship with our truth, like true truth, which is such a loaded word, is just being in relationship with love. And love inherently is freeing and is in service to all beings, not just self. And sometimes we have to penetrate through the layers of self so that we can be given the opportunity to love ourselves and our own illusion before we can really fully embody being love. Because we have to explore, we have to accept, and then we can embrace the totality of what we are. And only then can we really be anchored in truth.
Yeah.
And it's messy.
I appreciate you repeating those words again, like explore, accept, embrace. And yeah, that's a remembering that I have to continually come back to. So I appreciate the echoing there. And this idea that you cannot heal something that you hate. I'm just remembering that in my own system. You cannot heal that which you hate. And the way that that statement ripples out into our relationship with the other. And the divisive nature of our current political landscape, our communities, it's on every level. If we have hate for something, we can't ever achieve wholeness. And just feeling that, how we have to make that difference within our own systems and in our own bodies, and fight that battle in our own soil so that we can model the world we want. Yeah.
And embracing feels like a being of it, and that is really the only way to virtuously guide others, is to be it. And you have to be, it's like kind of intense to call it a battlefield, but I'm going to call it that because that's been my own personal experience. Like, you almost have to be on the battlefield to understand the nuances of the battle. You have to explore that field within yourself, or you will continue to create it. And it's interesting because it's almost like when we explore it and we have this like deep resistance to parts of ourselves, it's almost like when we start to accept the parts of ourselves that we have resistance to, they not only have less power over us, but they actually exist less. So we neutralize the field.
Yeah.
We set the weapons down.
Yeah.
We meet the perceived other with compassionate eyes.
I just had this full circle moment of coming back to the conversation we were having about the soldier and in the roots where we started, and what it would be like to equip veterans and active duty military members with this parts work framework, with IFS, with internal family system, and how it would probably be deeply subversive, actually, because we almost rely on the soldier being split, being of two minds, and not being whole. Because if they were, they wouldn't go out to battle. Because they'd see their enemy as neutral and fundamentally a part of themselves. That's, maybe I think we're on our way there. I hope.
I think that so long as we continue to show up for our own quote-unquote fight, like our internal war, and we de-armor through the process of it, we will see that ripple out into the collective, and war will subside. I truly believe that the manifestation of all of the wars and violence and uprising of all of the harm that's being done is an aspect of our collective conscious internal battle with power, self-worth, resource. And I just have to anchor into the faith that so long as we do that work within our own beings, and then we show up with our capacity to hold space for others who are in their work, in their battle, by being the example, that we will have an impact similar to, back to that Eye of Horus, at the beginning of the seed of consciousness, like the flower of life. And we impact one person, and that one person will impact 2 people, and those 2 people will impact 3 people, and those 3 people, and it just exponentially anchors in the frequency of compassion and like true humanity and like grace. And man, we could go into a whole nother podcast around sacred rage and the process of being in that war with self and political systems and perspectives of consciousness within all of that. And ultimately, I stand pretty firm in my beliefs that the best thing I can do for you is work on me, and the best thing you can do for me is work on you. Because when we do that, we have grander capacity, we have grander clarity, we have pierced through the veils of our own illusion, and we come closer to our own heart's inherent truth. Therefore, we come closer to the truth of all that exists, which is God, source, love. And we remember that all is love in disguise. There are just ways and routes to understanding it.
I think you've just answered the final question. I've been asking people where they believe the energy of creation comes from, and I won't stop you short if there's more exploration, but what I'm hearing is love taking on so many various forms, disguises, shapes, colors, textures. Our creations are love, our source love. But if there's anything you want to add here as we close out in the crown, the space, beyond time, beyond limit, beyond knowing, if there's anything else.
I'm feeling this like warm embrace by all that is, in the frequency of remembering that all of this exists because of love, all of this beautiful creation. And that is my belief, that creation comes from love. And that is the purest, most life-giving essence that there is.
Ash.
Quincy.
Thank you so much. This was everything I wanted, and also light years beyond what I could have ever expected. And I'm just feeling so grateful for this. And the moment that I wrote on my list that Ash was one of the people I wanted to have on this show, just such an awesome finale to my week of podcasting mania in Minneapolis. So basically interviewing all of the people who we love and adore and who are so deeply creative, and catching all of these different facets of the one creative essence of the universe. And that you are the final little cherry on top of this epic sundae that I've been eating and recording the last couple of weeks is just like delicious beyond belief. Thank you so much. I love you.
I love you too. It's been seriously such an honor.
Super cool.
Such an honor. I'm so excited to continue to just witness your creations and to have the opportunity to be in co-creation and to just like witness your unfolding. You are truly like one of the most integral people I think that I know. Like constantly checking that you are coming from a place of integrity and your willingness to just look at yourself and be in the process of discernment and stand in your own truth is what the world needs. And there's no better human to be doing exactly what we're doing than you right now. So thank you so much for stepping into the the courage to do it and to offer this gift.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I see, and yeah, I feel that flower of life that we've been talking about in my mind's eye right now. And we're the first 2 circles. And I'm so excited for all the other circles around us to fill in and start to hear and discern the beautiful things that came through in this conversation, and for one person to share it with another person and another person, and the layers of impact to ripple out and be atomized up into the cloud of our collective conscious and rain down and spring new and beautiful things into the world. Where can people find you if they want to find you on the internet? They should just go to my Instagram for now, and that's where everything will be. It's authentically Ashleigh. Perfect.
And I'm spelled slightly French, Ashleigh, the ASHLEIGH. That's
Perfect.
me. And I have my poetry, I have my music, I have my links to all my things. Linktree will be up. I have a website for the work that I do. All of that is available on Instagram currently.
Perfect. Holding you to it. And also I'm going to hold you to mentioning that you have something coming out.
I have a poetry book called The Heart of Love, and it's an exploration of the terrain of my heart through what I thought at the time were some of the hardest times of my life. So there will definitely be a volume 2 now that I have been through the grief of losing a father to suicide. But it encapsulates the terrain and exploration of my heart as I went through what was one of the deepest heartbreaks. My Saturn return, coming back home to Minnesota, quote unquote, it's not where I was born, but back to the space that felt like home, and just all of my inner musings and little tokens of journal entry and poetry in there. So yeah, that will be here next week.
Oh,
so exciting. I'm so excited to just gift that to the world and to continue to be in the exploration of my own creativity through word and music, and turning poetry into spoken word on Spotify, which, yeah, you can also find me on as Ashleigh Lynn.
Perfect.
On Spotify.
Yes.
And the EP will be out this fall.
The other thing I wanted to remind folks of is that you're also the creator of the Acorn Collective, which is the space that we are currently nestled up in and sweating within right now. It's a beautiful dome that you've built with your bare hands and with so much devotion. Ash was literally telling me that she was down on her hands and knees on the floor today, sweeping this floor and pouring love into it, and really tending to this space as a devotional act to God. And yeah, so much beauty has filled the space, so I'll make sure I link all of that in the show notes. And
thank you.
That is all. I'm not going to let you hide all of your beautiful facets.
Oh, what a gift.
All right. That's all. Thank you for journeying with me into the fertile void on the Vision Seed podcast. As we emerge from this space, it's my hope that the whisper of inspiration may take root and aid you in your creative path. If this episode resonated with you, I invite you to share it, leave a review, and follow along with us on social media. Until next time, keep dancing in the dark and cultivating the seeds of your creative vision. Bye-bye.